all set, Matt.
All right, great, thanks.
You can brush your teeth?
Yes.
That's good.
All right, good evening, Litchfield, and welcome to the July 10th meeting of the Conservation Commission. We'll start off with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll start off with a roll call.
Joan McKibben, secretary.
Harry Manzigian, member.
Michael Croto, member.
Jason Brennan, vice chair.
Matt Hoffman, chair.
Ada McCarthy, member.
Fred French, member.
George Labash, alternate.
Diane Plinsky, Selectman's Rep.
All right, public input, doesn't look like we have anybody here for input, so we'll start off with new business. First of all, we'd like to welcome Aidan McCarthy as a new alternate member to the Conservation Commission, so welcome aboard.
Thank you.
All right, getting on to other stuff. So we received a request from Marion Colby. Wrong one. Sorry. So Heritage Commission is starting to plan for the America's 250th anniversary, and they sent a note to all the government groups in town requesting assistance for planning, fundraising, what other activities are involved with preparing for the ceremonies. So we're obviously doing a lot to help them with what we're preparing for the muster field, planning to put up signage, all that sort of stuff, and maintaining the grounds. But they're looking for to get a member from each organization in town to be able to help out with the planning for that.
I motion, Diane.
I'm already there.
See?
I'm their Selectman's Rep as well.
All right, so you can
Oh,
represent
no,
conservation.
no, we need
That's
a conservation
perfect.
member too. It's such a good try though, you guys. Because they're gonna want to know, like maybe an event, maybe something to do with the community garden where you do an exhibition of different ways that farming happened, or how, because a lot of the fish was used as fertilizer and stuff like that. I mean, there's things that can be conservation. Like
Why can't we have a dunking booth like they used to have?
we could do a dunking booth.
Do we need a light?
Would you be able to sit on the Duncan booth for us?
That would wreck my hair for the day. So they really are looking for a conservation member. I can certainly fill in if you can't always be
Well,
there.
no, we'll ask here. First of all, do we have any volunteers that would be willing to sit in? So it's basically just representing us, understand what they need.
I can do it.
Great.
Perfect.
You didn't learn that rule about in the army, huh? No, don't volunteer for anything.
Wow, no, that's
Don't give them any
Any
advice.
hints?
Yeah, Joan. You're
Good
supposed
job,
to take
Rick.
a step
Good
back.
job.
It's trial by fire.
I like your spirit.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that'd be good. I mean, we're obviously already doing a lot of stuff to help them out. So with the stuff we're doing for the muster field and marking up the properties and towns and stuff too. But yeah, we'll definitely do that. So I'll put you in touch with Marion, and we'll
Okay.
figure out from there.
What's the schedule? Do we have to, do they have special meetings or something?
So the Heritage Committee meetings are very short, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. They're lovely. And they're going to just add this on to the end of it. So I think, is it the third Thursday?
Yeah, so the first one is Thursday, July 17th. Their meeting starts at 6:30. I think their meetings are relatively quick. And then following the meeting, they'll have the the kickoff meeting. So you get Aiden for July 17th then?
Yes.
Did you get a town website yet, a town email yet?
I have not.
Okay, we'll talk to Joe.
Yeah, so
about
we
that.
got to, we got to get them hooked up with that, as well as we'll need to get them a fob for access to the police station. I mean, I'm sorry, the old fire station.
Stay out of that police station.
Okay.
And maybe I'll go to that meeting too, just to add, help ease you in,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be lovely.
One thing that's been on the back of my mind, and it might come in handy on the, for the 250th, is we had been talking for a couple of years to like cut a trail from the back of the fire station over to GMS. And it wouldn't take anything more than like just clearing it out with the tractor.
They did that for the last whatever event.
Yeah.
Last,
Cool.
Something to think about.
I forgot who owns,
So is that just for, to get?
so you don't have to walk on 3A.
Yeah.
If there's events at the school and events at the old church or the old town hall, then you don't have to go walking on 3A.
That would be nice too, because they used to bring the kids over to the Historical Society and give them tours.
We have to check and see who owns that backfield, I can't remember.
That'd be nice.
We have an easement on it. That's the.
We have an easement to Stage Crossing.
Okay, all right, we'll figure that out.
Well, they have done that though, the last big event.
Oh, and next, I still had the 2026 budget on there that I've got to submit shortly. So last meeting, we talked about just adding $300 for, in support of the ice fishing derby, so I'll still plan on doing that. And I meant to get the burn rate on our current budget, because,
I have about, almost $500 now
Okay.
with investment in that pump and, batteries and whatnot. So we need to figure out, how much the, garden should get as a budget item, maybe perhaps going forward, because, I don't know if we're gonna spend more on that, but,
yeah, hopefully that's about all that we're gonna have to spend besides ongoing maintenance for the garden.
That's something that we could do fundraising
Yeah,
for as well.
so we've already put a pretty good dent in the budget between the ice fishing derby, what we spent on the garden, and Joan's poop bags.
Jones poop bag. Doggy poop. Could you clarify that, please?
You're in a roll tonight.
Busted on poop bags.
So we'll have to do that, but I think we're probably already down to probably like about $1,000 left. But I think we're pretty good as far as equipment purchases that we need to do. We do have a lot coming up for like when our intern finishes up her research. We want to put up the signage for that. When we close on DeRocher's, we're gonna want to put up some kiosks for that. So
Yeah.
we might actually have to do like a one-time request for the conservation against the conservation fund to maybe do the purchases needed for that. Because we want to make sure we do good signage, right? We don't for the sites. We don't want to put up the post with a piece of plywood and laminated papers on it. We want to do something with maybe some printed aluminum signs.
and then we'll
stuff.
probably need another poop bag station too.
Yeah.
No, no more poop bag
Down there.
stations.
No more poop bag stations?
Take it with you.
And I misspoke, my number was around 420 is what I have for receipts.
Oh, okay. So we got another $80.
Yeah, I spent about $80 on wood. I bought wood for the shed.
Trim.
Oh, good.
Redo the
Oh, okay,
trim.
okay, good.
Good.
Yeah, we'll have to get some.
Did you
paint
see I
for
jury
that.
rigged the doors shut?
Yeah, we
Because
got
they were waving in the breeze.
painted up.
Yeah, so I got to look at the budget again and figure out where we are, but I think we'll be okay. But then if there's going to be quite a bit of wood needed for the signage, concrete, and setting up a couple of kiosks and stuff. So
You talking about DeRoche's, at DeRoche's?
kiosks for DeRocher's, and then for the Muster Field and Morris Falls and wherever else we want to put up the signage.
With QR codes.
with the QR codes and, some brief descriptions of the properties and stuff. So that'll probably be maybe a dozen posts that we want to put up for that.
Can the intern, maybe go to the Heritage Commission meeting and give them a presentation of what's happening so far?
I would think she'd be definitely up for that.
She actually met with the historic folks this
Met
week.
with Steve, right?
I think in a few of them this week. I think
This
they're-
week?
Oh, this
Yeah,
week? Okay,
that's
great.
great.
And went over all of the write-ups that have already been done. But I'll check that.
All right, any other comments on the budget? I'll get the formal submittal together that we can review before I submit it, but it's basically gonna be last year's budget plus another line item for the ice fishing derby.
And not a line item for the garden, or no, you think that'll be incorporated?
I don't
into-
think so. I think I'm hoping that it's just gonna be maintenance now from the garden, right? We did the major expenditures.
Okay.
Probably.
When do you know when your budget's going to be heard at the selectmen?
I don't know the date. I have it, but I'd have to look
Okay.
it up.
It was like August, it was
August
the
some-
second meeting in August.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So we still have some time. We just,
I guess the only thing we could think about is the water tower plan. If we want to raise that tank, we'd have to get some semi-beefy timbers in order to put it together. But, so that might be the only addition for the garden for next year, not this year.
yeah, that'd be another one-time
Okay.
fee. And yeah, I think before we decide on that, we gotta make sure our proof of concept is going. So I think we should probably run through the whole season, because once we do that, we can't trailer the tank anymore. And we gotta see,
Gotta keep it looking nice.
the other thing I'm kinda concerned about is, since we're pulling from the brook, we're getting a lot of soot and stuff in the tank. We gotta figure out a way to flush all that stuff out.
Kind of screening.
Hopefully, I mean, I think on the trailer, right, we can bring it somewhere where we can hose it out pretty well, but
Can we stir it up a little bit and
Flush
drain
it.
it and flush it?
yeah, I think we
Yeah.
can. We just have to play with it and figure it out.
Yeah,
Get somebody up there,
we checked it out the other day.
stir it up and.
The youngest one.
Aiden, we'll just stick him down in the tank, give him a
we
scrub brush.
We decided,
Okay.
So let him quit the first night.
all right, so, and I've got something to hopefully help address the sediment as well. We can talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
Wicked proud.
Outboard motor, battery operated motor.
We'll have to buy another
Trolling
battery. All right, next item is the Dubay Group survey invoice approval.
Yep, I just wanted to get a motion on this, just to approve the Dubay Group, their invoice that they sent. So, Dubay Group was the survey firm that, did the survey for the DeRocher property. They actually did it last fall. The price that they quoted us was $18,900, I believe, and that's what the invoice was for, is for $18,900. I'm surprised they haven't billed us already, because they actually did the work last fall, so they've been carrying that load since last.
Well, they put, but they put the bounds in this spring, right?
They did put the boundaries in, about a month ago. So, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the invoice for the Dubay Group, in the amount of $18,900.
And that was something we approved previously.
It was pre-approved already, yeah, but just in case.
Harry second.
So, Jason made the motion, Harry seconded. Any discussion? All right, we don't need a roll call vote for this, right?
No.
No,
Okay, all in favor?
aye. You can't act.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, sorry, I should
Okay.
go with that. Anybody opposed?
okay, sounds good. You just follow.
Anybody abstain?
Okay.
All right, the motion carries 7-0-0.
Already
Yeah.
sent it to Karen White, so I'll just tell her that.
Okay.
When she looks at the minutes, we'll be good.
Yeah, so Eden, we have we have 6 full-time
Yeah.
members, and then our selectmen's rep makes 7 voting members. And then, we have, alternative members,
Okay.
which you and George are right
Okay.
now. So if, any of the, full-time members are not available,
Okay.
we can
No, I
promote
see.
you for the meeting, so. Officially, only the full-time members and the selectman rep
But
can
we can
vote.
still comment.
Yeah, right, you can participate, yeah.
We just can't actually vote.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't take
One of
you
these
Okay.
things will get
Okay.
to the majors.
All right, Economic Development Committee input.
Yep, that's me. So I'm on the Economic Development Committee, and one of the things that they asked us to do is to come back to the board to get consensus on, things that, for example, the Conservation Commission could do to promote economic development. And that might be, for example, loosening up our wetlands policies. I think that's the only thing that that would fall underneath us. I mean, we don't cover zoning, we don't cover anything else, we cover pretty much wetlands.
Well, we could make a suggestion to maybe create a warrant article that the town would have to vote on, right, in order to change zoning or
To zoning, right, right.
right, so,
We could do that,
no,
yes.
but, I mean, I don't think we have the authority to make,
No, we
Changes,
we
right?
couldn't change anything, we'd have, just like you just said, it'd have to go to town meeting if it's zoning.
right, because even when we review plans, right, to the planning board, we write letters of recommendation, right, so.
That's right.
So, the only thing we could do as a group, I think, is to write a letter of recommendation to
Right.
whoever the ruling body was in order to loosen these things up.
That's exactly right, and what the group is looking for is input on that. And I think, so I'm gonna just pose the question. We cover wetlands. Would the Conservation Commission entertain changing anything related to wetland setbacks related to
And this-
economic
And
development?
this is not a vote at this point, right?
Nope,
It's
nope.
consensus, you just,
Just
what is your
con-
opinion?
And I assume the answer's no.
I'm not in favor of loosening
I'll
wetlands.
tell you, I see all the plans that come in, and I've seen too many plans that here'll be the wetland, and we have a 75-foot building setback. The building is right on the 75-foot setback, which I don't have a problem with that. The problem I have is when they go to build the building, the excavator is going to be over that 75-foot line, unless they put silt fence up or some, it's too close. So we have a 50-foot non-disturbance buffer. And like I said, we have 75-foot building setback, and a lot of times they're right on the line because that's what they have to do to get what they want in there. And I think it's fine, leave it the way it is. We do have a bigger buffer on vernal pools, basin marshes, prime areas, but I don't think we should loosen that up either.
I had a couple other just follow-up questions, and let me just go back to my email.
I got it.
I have.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I got one of them off the top of my head. Would the folks here, forget about the Conservation Commission, would you folks be in favor of potentially developing an overlay district down Route 3A that would promote either farm-based businesses or chick farm type of businesses or breweries or things like that? That's one of the things that was discussed there. We're not talking strip malls or anything like that, but we're talking promoting artisan and farm-based business.
Mom and pop type thing.
Yep.
As long as artisan was very well defined, because what it is to me and what it is to you might be two different things.
Where is there
I don't think
any
that's
kind
good.
of open land?
No, he's talking along 3A.
Like a blacksmith
that's what
shop
I'm
is a
asking.
artisan
But
business.
it could happen in a house that already
Society of
exists.
all you know, I mean, well, whatever, you know.
Goes with it.
But look at Chick Farm, that already existed.
Okay,
So it doesn't have to be open land specifically. And I don't think that, I'm not opposed to that, but I don't think it would bring in a lot of economic revenue.
It wouldn't move the needle at all. You know, what's gonna move the needle is something big. Big. but it
Another
doesn't hurt,
Amazon headquarters.
pretty much.
Another, Rose Meadows. I guess that's bringing in pretty good money.
The third question I had was, any thoughts on moving zoning lines? You can see the zoning map right there. In the middle is all residential, all the yellow is residential. You know, one of the thoughts that was put on the table, or at least discussed, I don't wanna say it was put on the table, there's nothing proposed, but do you slide the commercial district down, you know, from the north end or up from the south end?
And with the road that we have accommodate that?
What was that? What?
And does the road that we have that goes through town accommodate that?
And so this is the economic development meeting or committee looking for feedback from us before they
Yes.
make their recommendations. Because,
Yeah. Yeah,
right, because again, this is something that is warrant article changing of, you know, right,
Oh,
it
that
has to be
would-
voted
right.
on, blah, you know.
I watched that whole meeting, and they wanted to know from each department, any ideas.
yeah.
What's the pink commercial?
The tops,
yeah.
the tops commercial, industrial, you have a, multifamily overlay district in the bottom and the top. And all the yellows are residential, agriculture.
So,
If there's no thought either way, that's fine too.
yeah, I think we need to see if there is a proposal, what that would be
Right,
before we can really comment.
Yeah, I'd like to look at it a little bit more before we make,
Well, they didn't
That's
really
fine.
come up with, when is their report due?
Well, it was supposed to be due last month, but I think it's gonna be several more months. We're gonna go through a few iterations here. I just wanna, when I go in to, the Economic Development Committee at the end of the month, I wanna come in and say, we discussed this as a board. We don't feel that there are any procedural changes from the Conservation Commission's point of view with expanding or contracting, you know, the wetlands buffers, number one. It sounds like, number two, that folks wouldn't be against some sort of defined overlay district down through Route 3A if it fit in with the character of the community. And then number three, if the actual physical changing of the zoning lines, it looks like the commission here doesn't have any input on that due to the fact that we would need to see a proposal to be able to react to.
And to know what the ramifications would be and how far they're talking, you know, what they're talking about, distance and what the ramifications to 3A would be.
So I think what they're trying to react to is unfortunately not the economic development as far as bringing more money into town, but when they did their survey, there was a response that there were people in town that were interested in coffee shops and those kind of things. So yeah, not necessarily bringing more money into town, but bringing more, what kind of services.
But the
would you
economic
like to see?
development, well, maybe that's what the survey wanted, but the economic development committee is supposed to be bringing more tax revenue.
Right,
Well, they had talked about, way back when the former town administrator was here, having this area out front here be like that kind of central coffee shop type area that would draw people too, but I don't know if this committee has talked about that.
Does anybody else have any other input for me to bring? Any crazy ideas, double-decker?
Well,
bridge?
you need a destination place. I mean, Merrimack has Budweiser, Salem has the big,
Tuscan
hu-
Village.
that big huge
Yeah.
thing, yeah, and
we have Dara Pond.
We have Terrebonne. Londonderry has the whole thing by Market Basket now, the 603 Brewery. And,
Yeah, they also have highways.
right. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have sewer and we don't have road.
And-
Yeah, I mean,
and you need-
that's-
In order to have a coffee shop, you need to have a business plan, you need to have enough people that visit it all the time
Right.
in order for it to,
Yes.
right, same with
Right.
restaurants, that's why we have problems in town with, but.
With people staying,
It's a
right.
nice, it's a nice idea, but do you have,
Who's- What is Charbonneau, Continental Paving, excuse me? One of the buildings we know is a church. What's the other building gonna be?
What
Does
do you mean, what's
anybody
a
know?
church?
Where
It's not a
are you
church.
talking about?
Right across from Fun World?
Oh, no, this is.
No, that's not
Oh,
a
no,
church.
that's not, neither of those are churches. Those are,
Finnegan Fence and Jolt
but I think
Electric.
they're both warehouse type buildings, right?
One's a fence company.
yeah.
And one is Jolt Electric.
Yeah,
Oh,
And there's one in the middle that is
not
not
sold, not
done anything yet.
occupied yet.
geez, I could have swore I saw a sign that said.
It said St. Mary's Bank.
Oh, that's.
No,
it,
no,
right.
no. There's another sign that definitely says a church on there.
Maybe it's it's St. Mary's Bank, and I think it has might have a church or something that looks like a church, I don't know, but it's not gonna be a church.
Oh,
isn't there a single
Okay.
family home, approved in front of the Jolt building too?
They're mixed use, yeah.
There
Yeah,
was, yeah.
yes, there is,
I don't know if it's
There
in
is.
front of or behind it.
in front of,
It's supposed to be in front.
of it,
I didn't see it.
it's not there yet.
I don't see the foundation or anything either, so.
yeah.
All right.
no,
Okay.
just,
Yeah, so,
Anybody's-
no input. Definitely happy to review a proposal, but.
Okay.
Right, and just one more point, I'm on the zoning board as well, right, and so a lot of the lots, as to Joan's point, there are houses that are built right to the edge, and now people are coming in and looking for variances because, the developer, subdivided the lot as small as he could, and then he built right to the edge, and now these people will say, well, I'd like to put a garage in there, well, the builder would have put a garage in there if he could have, but he couldn't because it would have, encroached on the buffer. So we're gonna get more and more of these things as people are going right to the hairy edge. And, we have these rules for a reason, so I think we should, that we have.
Good point.
Okay, anybody have anything else for new business?
Yes, I do. I didn't realize that I could add things to the portal myself, so why don't you just take one and pass it along? This is a, draft version of the subdivision and site plan operational flow chart for internal use. And Jason picked up a good point that when a plan comes in, if it needs a special exception to the wetlands, it has to be noticed to the planning board and conservation commission, so that has been added in, over here. So it just shows when a plan comes in, what happens to it, and before it goes to the planning board, and then if it needs a variance on the left side, you can see. And this square box on the rectangle on the right-hand side, that's, street numbers go to, and accessory dwelling units, the street numbers go to the fire department. That's Paul at the fire department. And so, just take a look at it, and if you have any comments, email them to me, that would be great. That's all I have on that.
It's good that was added in. So on the left-hand side, it went directly from the building inspector to the zoning board, essentially bypassing us if there was a wetlands issue. So this got added back in, or got added in, which is
Right.
good. So we haven't, a couple of years ago with I think it was the past building inspector, every single time a plan came up that had any wetlands impact at all,
We're supposed-
came right to us first and then went to the zoning board.
It says that right in the zoning that it goes to
Yeah.
conservation, planning, and the building inspect, and the health department.
And in the last year, a few of those went to the zoning board without coming to us for input first. Remember, we used to write the letters and stuff?
Yeah,
There's one coming
Yeah, we
Monday
haven't
that
had
we
that for
haven't
a
seen,
while.
a deck down at Annandale.
Doesn't any plan need to notify the abutters?
On, which zoning?
Well,
Any
it
building
looks
plan.
like, it looks like just for a variance.
No, but,
Anything needs to be notified to the butters, yes.
right, so the only time abutters are getting notified here is if there's a variance required. And
Well, yeah, oh, that's a good point. Over here, they're supposed to be notified on the planning board side. Do they have that? They don't have that. Good point.
There needs to be another workflow added in here, based on what George said. So it's like the building inspector receives the plans.
Well, either the building inspector or the planning board assistant receives the plans. If there's no variance, it goes right to the planning board.
Oh, I get you.
And then if they get a variance, it's.
So it looks like just the notify, abutters block needs to go to,
Should be in the middle.
yeah, when the planning board assistant receives the plans.
Well, the zoning board does their own, notices too, so we should have a notify abutters over here. Good point.
So think another box needs to be added in there. It's like building inspector receives the plan, and then there should be no yes or no. It should just go an arrow down.
Well,
Is the variance required, yes or no, and split off into different.
Well, I guess the question is, do abutters need to be notified before it goes to the zoning board?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, those need to be stacked.
Well, actually, this needs to be over here. Yeah, before it goes to the planning. Just look at this, okay.
That's close.
Yeah,
Denied, you see, after.
All right, anything else on that, Joe?
no,
Anything else for new business before we move on to old business? All right, next up is our summer intern update.
Yeah, I'll be brief on this. So the intern's been working with the historical folks and writing up all of the couple paragraphs and getting photos on each property, and I think that's going pretty well. She met with the historic folks this week just to go over everything. So I think by the time for the next meeting, I think we'll have that website pretty much done. And then I think at that point in time, we can start getting those signs set and laminating the signs and getting those up.
Yeah, that sounds great. So, well, I guess to go along with that, we should, I'm not sure which businesses and stuff to do like the printed aluminum signs and stuff, but I think we want something that's gonna be around for 15, 20 years, right?
Yeah, there's a guy in Nashville that will help us out. It's the one that did the sign over the fire station that we put up.
Oh, okay.
That's a
nice.
metal sign that's basically got a
Yep.
sticker on the front of it. The intern also, in folder 14, if anybody's interested, in folder 14, there's a lot of information in there. And what I had her do is she got bits and pieces of information from the historic folks and from the different documents that were provided. And I basically had her write up like a one-pager on every single, we had like 14 points of interest at the muster field on every single point. And then she's reviewing that with the historic folks just to make sure they give it the gold seal of approval. And then we're gonna push it up. And so that's what she's going through, right?
I just did send her an email this week. I was a little late on getting it back to her. She had Birch Street and one other thing, the Bixby Meadow, kind of reversed, so I tried to straighten that out.
Okay.
So she's really addressing every conservation property then?
Yeah, one, just a little bit of a historic write-up on each of the major conservation properties, not the little ones. We, over a month ago, met with Joan and got like the top 10 list down.
Okay.
So we got like a little bit of a write-up on each one. There's like a marketing write-up, and then there's like a history write-up underneath it.
Good.
And I think she was looking for like some history information too on Birch Street.
Yeah, Birch, I gave her some.
Yeah, just even if you give like 2 or 3 bullets, like we can like craft that into a paragraph.
That'd be great, because we don't get, we get very little traffic on Bird Street, so that might be good to get.
Well, it's pretty much winter traffic. It's
Yeah.
very
Too wet.
wet and buggy. And I missed a new business, but keep going. Can we just go back after
Oh,
Jason's done?
no, we can
Can't go back?
go back.
Or when Jason's done.
I'm done.
You done? Wanna go back?
Sure.
Okay, we have a notice from the, planning board about July 15th, planning board meeting. The gas station is coming in for an amendment, and I will read it to you. It's an amendment, and that's 7 o'clock on July 15th. An amendment to a previously approved site plan for a gas station and convenience store at tax map 22, lot 11, 522 Charles Bancroft Highway, owner Thoreau Development LLC. The amendment includes reduction in area of the proposed gas convenience store building by approximately 664 square feet, relocation of the underground storage tanks from the north side to put all the tanks underground on the south side, revised drive aisle widths near the vehicle fueling positions, reduction in paved surfaces by 19%, and shifting the development away from the rear wetland. So they're moving the building up, they're going down to 4,800 square feet on the convenience store and moving it up towards 3A more. From what I can tell comparing the two plans, they're not reducing the grass strip in the front of 3A anymore, they're just moving the building up and making the pavement a little smaller, I think, in front of the building. Well, the building, maybe not even that, the building was 5,500 square feet, so they're just moving the building up a little bit.
So they're decreasing the size of the building or
Yeah,
increasing?
decreasing, that's 4,800.
Did they say what they're taking out?
I think they're still keeping everything. I think they're still having definitely still having the drive-through still on there.
So there's still gonna be some kind of fast food type place.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I think the pizza place is still there and the coffee.
I think the
How
thing
does
that would
this
change
affect
is,
the sidewalk?
in the original plan, I
Doesn't-
believe there was a
Does
car
it?
wash. I don't think they're doing that
No, they're not doing a
in
car
the
wash.
amendment.
That would be tough.
Yeah.
So it's, for us, it's reducing the paved surface and it's shifting the development away from the rear wetland. They had a big retaining wall and they're reducing the retaining wall size. I have the plans are actually in, the selectmen's viewing room there behind Donna, if anybody wants to see them.
There was, when we were, during COVID, we were in the fire station, and they came in and talked to us at length about those tanks. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Are they using the same tanks? They're just changing locations? There
they're
was
just
big
changing
talk- there was a
they're just changing locations. They're putting, because they had the diesel tanks to the south and they had the regular gas to the north, so they're making a tank farm, everything to the south, all in one place. So then when you have the big tankers come in to fill the tanks up, you're not blocking the pathway, the
Congested.
roadway.
You feel comfortable with that? I remember it was a long discussion of where they were putting
Yeah, the
it.
tank farm is, I mean, DES watches that too, so. And nothing's changing with the, storage warehouse, the storage area, that's staying the same.
And if they're not having a car wash, I mean, there's a lot less concern about wastewater getting
Runoff,
into,
Yeah,
into Moore's Falls.
that's all I have on that, just that you were formally noticed.
All right, any, discussion on that?
Do you want me to share the plan? Or you?
Sure.
The new plan or the old plan?
I think it's a new plan, right? It's on your portal?
Yes,
The amended plan.
So the storage facility is gonna move away from the,
no, the storage, nothing's changing with the storage, just the building,
Okay, so,
convenience building's moving.
I'm not sure where the storage comes in, hold on.
They're way
way
in the back. That's the
Where the wetlands
gas
So-
station.
So this area up here, this is the proposed building, and these must be the tank farm, the gas station pumps here,
In the front,
in
right,
front.
right.
And they're now moving the gas storage tanks, I guess, over to
Over
this,
to-
this side right here.
That's right there, yeah.
Okay. And this looks like it's a water retention, catch basin, is that what that is?
Where you're
The
pointing.
yellow,
underneath it?
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
right here, yeah, that's what that looks like, right?
So they're changing the slope there behind the building and behind the parking, they're doing a 3-to-1 slope off the back and not making it as steep as originally planned.
So every one of these lines is 10 feet here, right? I think. What it, I can't, what is it? To increase it, Command plus. So 194, 193, okay, 192. So there's not much of a slope here, but there's a little bit more, 182, 180. So this is where, you know, their swale to catch their water. Okay, and then, so this is their storage units,
Right, nothing changes there,
and that's way off the back.
right?
I just can't see where that,
That's their big detention pond and swale down the bottom there.
over here.
Mentioned.
So, for us,
As a butters.
they're moving it a little bit forward. I mean, we don't have a before and after of the plan here, we just have this plan, but I don't know if it really changes too much.
I think it's less. Reviewed it, and I thought, Joan, that it was actually less of an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
yeah.
looks like it. So
Yeah,
get,
it's the
George,
same.
can you go up a little bit?
Sorry,
Is, I assume the little, square boxes to the right are the pumps, right?
Right,
these ones
So
here.
those haven't moved.
I think she said they might be closer to the road, right?
well,
Or the building
they're
is closer.
making the building smaller, so this area, I was measuring, seems to stay the same, the grassed area up against 3A.
Okay,
So this went, it was 5,500, now it's 4,800. So they moved it up a little bit, and then they didn't have to have such a steep, high retaining wall in the back.
But the locations of the pumps didn't move, but there still looks
Right.
like there's plenty
Right.
of room, yeah. So I don't think there'd be any concerns for us.
Yeah, I'm looking,
Well, you were noticed because we have the property next door. That's why you got
Got it.
noticed.
Yeah.
yes,
But I'm saying the changes of the plan
Right,
don't change the impact to us.
they're actually less impact, right?
and these dotted lines over here, the
Where
far
are they?
one there's, that's a 100-foot setback from the wetlands for that would be for your, septic, and then 75 is your building, so they're just outside of their 75, but this isn't a building, so, does a parking lot count for the 75 feet?
I don't think so.
Okay, and then then it's 50
Sure,
feet
but-
for the, no disturb.
Yeah, and we shouldn't be getting a lot of runoff from them, especially without the car wash being there, so.
But it still is impervious surface, right? But they do have the collection pond.
Yep.
our letter to them, using the Conservation AI app and going back through the notes, related to, we had concerns about lighting, and we had concerns about buffering and lighting. The trees, remember you said you didn't want the trees cut down in between the gas station and Moore's Falls?
I think that they had a new note there that said there'd be less tree cutting.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to get to someplace where you can, yeah, I know.
Right,
There you
Go
go.
up, go to-
right here.
Yeah,
I think it said,
right in this area over.
Is the
Yeah.
path still there?
is it what?
Looks like
Path?
Yeah, path's still there. And lighting, the, new owner said 10 o'clock is gonna be the shutdown time.
Yeah, good.
And they're still gonna put the path between.
Yeah, right there,
Yep.
that's right there.
My pointer isn't very big.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's that.
2022.
Yeah, approved in
That's when they say it's
23.
gonna be done?
It was approved in 23,
First
When they
came here,
came.
it was before my time.
and someday they'll get a DOT permit. Which I did have.
The big holdup was they wanted 2 curb cuts, right?
Yeah,
That
they
was
weren't
one,
gonna
huh?
get 2 curb cuts, and that we had a, they actually had to file an alteration of terrain for the roadway, and DES just sent a letter back saying they wanted more information for their alteration of terrain for the road, so they're moving
Wasn't
along.
there some
Easier
problem
to
with
buy a farm than build a gas station.
DOT on the entrance?
Yeah, you can only have one, because they, based on 1965 or whatever they're basing it on,
Shrubs right in here.
Yeah,
who own the property.
because we have a lot of birds, we have bird houses on that,
Dead trees in there.
get some dead trees, dead trees.
Okay.
So,
All right.
that's
Anything
it.
else, Joan?
Nope, thank you.
He's really sassy.
All right, next up, we have the Dara Pond milfoil treatment.
I spoke with the owner of Arbor Pro last week. And he's now just at the point of trying to find the date, so he has do it within 30 days. He's gotta notify abutters within 2 weeks of doing it, and then he has to do a follow-up treatment, and he's trying to figure out his calendar and what he can do so that he gets the 2 treatments done and the right notifications to everybody, so I actually thought I'd know by now. It might have been, so 4th of July was Friday. I might have talked to him like Thursday or Wednesday of last week. So I'm just waiting on him. Supposedly, everything is good to go. He has all the permits and everything. He's just trying to figure out when to do it.
It's happening this summer.
Yes, I mean, he's.
Well, I
Hopefully
feel your
Gets it
pain.
before the milfoil
Happening
gets.
in here?
It is happening this summer.
Okay.
It's completely out of my hands.
This
so.
started at the same time as the DeRosa property, so we're going in for the.
Heck in that.
Who's gonna get there first?
So hopefully, gets it before the milfoil gets too established, so we don't have as much muck
Oh,
to
it's
deal with.
established.
Yeah, well, who knows? Yeah. And now that I know it's competition, I'll see what I can do to get it done.
Nice move.
Should have been that, the letter of that.
Maybe we'll have to throw in an incentive bonus.
Double my salary.
Another shirt.
Big multipliers.
All right, Mooresville's sidewalk update. I know Reggie supposedly talked to Fish and Game.
He's trying to get a face-to-face meeting with them, because he spoke with them on the phone.
That did happen, or it's,
He did talk to them, and he's
Okay.
trying to get a face-to-face to really explain it to them. And you heard from, the power
I
people.
heard from National Grid, and they actually, after pestering them for months, it's been over a year since we heard from them, and then I started pestering them like, I don't know, every couple times a week. They finally got back to us, and they actually ended up reviewing the plan. They ended up reviewing Reggie's plan, and they said they don't have any issue with the plan, but needed Reggie's surveyor to stamp it and sign it. And then they also needed an engineer to sign it. So I forwarded that to Reggie.
Okay.
And so hopefully he'll provide an updated plan and we can get that in.
All right, so it sounds like the big hang-up is just getting the approval from Fish and Game to do an improved surface.
Well, right, and Reggie's working on that to
Yeah.
get it to be paved surface.
All right, good. Next we have the Durocher Farm update.
Okay, getting there. As of this week, the revised deed has been approved by everybody, including the DeRochers.
Wow.
And I just sent, the DeRochers had one small comment just on one word. And I sent that over to the title company today. So I think just the next step is we're actually just gonna schedule the closing and get this done. So knock on wood, I'm with George on the, you never know, it can come up at the 11th hour, but it looks like we're good to go. And, I'm hoping next week, I think Karen White is back next week. We've got to, so the way it's gonna work is that we hired a title company. The title company has an escrow account. The state funding, the $225,000 from the L-CHIP program, was received by the title company and put into the escrow account. The $360,000 grant that we got from this New Hampshire DES, that check came to us and it was received and it was put into our account. So we have all of our grant money is in hand right now. $585,000 is in hand. So what we have to do next is we have to cut a check from the town account to fill the escrow account at the title company, so that when we close, the title company hands the check over to the drawer.
So are we paying all at once?
We gotta figure that out. The plan is right now is still, the DeRochers wanted 2 payments, 1 payment this year and 1 payment on January 1st. And the one thing that we just gotta figure out is who holds the money.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be the title company or is it gonna be us? And we've talked to the town attorney about that and we'll figure that out.
So all payments so far have come out of, the farm fund or conservation fund, right?
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So we in that escrow account, we should have enough to cover the first payment, right?
Oh, yeah.
No, we don't need the Board of Selectmen to, I mean, they've already approved this,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah, the Board of Selectmen has approved everything, but they'll sign the deed.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we're good.
Good.
There.
Good update. We're getting close. Next we have the community garden, so a lot happened there. We had, the highway department moved the shed over there, so that's in a good location, and then,
And they
George.
set it up.
yeah.
You know, we were just hoping they were gonna dump it on the lawn somewhere and we'd figure it out. George has got a pulley system set up. We were gonna swing it right into place. No, they set the whole thing up.
Did I hear a rumor
So
about
that-
a really bad case of poison ivy?
What's that?
Did I hear a rumor about a really bad case of
Oh,
poison ivy?
I didn't think I was very susceptible to poison ivy, but I am. You know, I had it on, cause I did my usual uniform, you know, my cargo shorts and t-shirt and
Low
went
socks.
through there, so I had it both legs, both arms on my chest. It was kind of a mess, but I'm through that
When we
now.
took the
I'll be
pictures,
more
it must
cautious in
have
the future.
You needed medical attention?
Yeah, so there,
Just for, you know, just that topical stuff that you can put on it.
so there was a lot of poison ivy around. Should we show the pictures at this point for
Yeah.
the community garden?
Yeah. So, the other point is we got the shed moved, and then we also have a water source for the community garden now, which George is going to step through.
Right,
Harry,
so
we have a slideshow.
we have a little bit of a slideshow.
So I'm gonna move.
So, this is the shed, and, the highway department did put it, pretty level, and they put it on the blocks, which for us, which was really good. Now that, you can see there's, brown stuff around it. I bought, 2 gallons of the 50% vinegar, which is like the highest concentration of vinegar you can buy. Now, when you put that stuff down, we're being good to the environment, but it's nasty to the applier. So I have to wear like a respirator mask and goggles, and it's strong even like an hour later.
I smelled it days later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I went there today to see about, using, the trimmer to trim down, so we've killed a lot of things, but it's still standing. If you rub against it, you still might get it. But the mosquitoes were so bad today that I had to abort that mission. So, you can kind of see, I might have a better picture, but there is one solar panel, attached directly to the roof, and I have one just kind of temporary right now with an angle bracket, that's not really tied down yet, just placed there to see how it works. We might have to cut down this tree off to the right to get complete solar coverage. See if I can- So,
So you have a solar panel and you have a battery?
we'll get a couple more pictures in a minute. So, we also installed a switch on the outside of the shed so that you can turn the switch to put the pump on. So this is just Fred and I installing the switch. So we ran wires. It's 150 feet essentially from the shed to the brook. So we, the pump is at the brook, and let's see if I have a picture here. We, it takes 2 minutes now to fill 5 gallons, which is a lot better. It was 6 minutes previously. Hold on, we're gonna skip through this. So these are our solar panels and, you know, that you can see in
That
closer
was a
detail.
painting derby.
So
I'm a great painter.
here's what we have on the inside. So we have two DC battery, deep cycle batteries in here, which is powering the pump, and we have them in series, which takes the 212s and turns them into 24 volts. And it's only a 12-volt pump, but because it's 150 feet, thanks to ChatGPT and some calculations it did for us, it's dropping the voltage because of the 150-foot run quite a bit. So we're running probably like 16 or 17 volts down there, but the pump seems to be handling it and pumping faster. When we only had 12 volts running it, we were only getting like 9 or 10 volts, and the pump was barely chugging. So that's,
Did you put a voltmeter down there
yeah, well,
at the pump?
yeah, well, I did, yes, I checked it at the pump. And then, I didn't check the actual 17 drop, that was based on calculations for the 24, okay? So, here's what I'm gonna be doing. So right now, we just have a single, I don't know if I can blow this up. So, I've got this 1/4-inch mesh that I bought, earlier, and I'm gonna use this plastic, milk crate, basically, and I'm gonna run the hose into the middle of the milk crate, and the pickup right now has its own little filter, but I think if I encase this thing and put it in the brook, we'll have a pre-filter to the filter, which might help a little bit with the sediment.
Yeah.
And if I put the pump filter off the ground a little bit, off the bottom of this mesh, we hopefully will reduce the amount of sediment. We might have to move this whole contraption into the stream a little bit because just before the rain, we had very little water where we currently are located. We might have to move the pump too. I'm not sure. So we might have to move that location. Let's see, do we have anything else? So that's the batteries. And so they're pretty good sized batteries, and this was a big chunk. These are like $125 each. So we had $250 almost in batteries, or maybe they're 112 each.
And how long will those last?
Well, with the solar panels, the intention is, the hope is that it'll be indefinite, right?
Right, so if I go back to this whole thing here, so these here are charging controllers that feed each one of these batteries. So each solar panel recharges a single battery. So, and one of these things could run for probably 8 hours or more, just pumping the pump, and we only need to run it for an hour at a time. So theoretically, they should never run out. I mean, eventually, after enough drawdown cycles, they start to lose their effectiveness. But we were using previously a trolling motor battery that I took out of my bass boat that was from 2015, that I took out of service because it wasn't good enough to hold my charges, but it was good enough to pump. So, pump up.
Prototype.
Yeah, so that was our prototype. And so you can see here that I did put the pump on a piece of wood here, and I have that staked into the ground. And you can see here, I don't know if I can move it closer, but right in this area. So it's a triangle-shaped pickup, and it's got a little screen, okay? And I have it staked into the, at this point, I had it staked in the ground. So what I'm gonna do is maybe move it a little bit so it's a little deeper. There's only a few inches over the top of it right there. So, but it seems to be working. So you can go down, flip the switch now, and we got, 120 gallons an hour?
Yeah, so we're getting about 120 gallons per hour, and I've been monitoring it. We've used up to like 250 gallons per day there. So, and then as plants get more established, right, people are gonna use more water. But it looks like this will keep up just fine. We don't have to trailer the water tank anymore. So,
Right, so, you know, we might get to the point, right now, we're currently pushing the button, but if we could get the community garden members to, you know, push the button and remember to turn the button off before they leave, but all you have to do is push the button.
Aiden's now trained to
Yep.
push.
There you go. And Aiden's down there.
I did,
Glenn can handle that for sure.
there's a couple that has the very first,
Denise, yeah.
Denise?
Denise, yeah.
Yeah, so I did train them because they brought their own pump. And I figured, well, if you can run your own pump off your car while you're running your pump, you should run this other pump at the same time, so,
Awesome.
they're gonna be doing that. So Jason did some,
No, we painted the shed red, hairy, and then go to the next picture. And then George didn't like that, so he painted it green.
Then I changed the trim to white.
so,
We're dealing with a limited budget, so, you know, we gotta decide on the color and just stay there. you know.
so we need to decide
Oh.
which color we want the shed to be, because we are gonna eventually, improve the conditions of the shed. So I don't know if this has to be an actual
I don't think so.
recorded vote.
But please don't do that.
You don't like
No,
this one?
don't do that.
I like the green with the white trim.
That's better.
I like the red. The red looks
I
like a
kinda like the
barn.
red myself.
But-
I actually like the gray and white. I'm big on gray and white,
So, and I,
That was nice too, yeah.
Yeah.
but the shingles in your drawings are a little
That
darker.
is true,
You could be out there re-roofing too.
yeah.
Okay, and then Jason's got this grand plan,
Yeah, that's good, I like that.
so,
Honeycomb
You
Junction.
may need to rebudget.
but seriously, we could possibly put the existing, did he give us that tank? It's not quite clear, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much gave us the tank and the trailer.
Okay, so,
Is
I
that
mean,
the
It's not
precursor to
officially
Penachuk?
signed off.
yeah, but we could put, the existing tank on a raised platform like this, and that way you'd get more of a gravity feed to the, for the garden. And
So
if you
we
wanted a
have
windmill, we
solar
could,
and wind power, we can run the pumps 24 hours a day.
I can see that
4th of
windmill
July.
being a project for the one of the high school kids.
so, all right, so,
Well, I'm serious about that. If you scroll up to
which one?
the water tower, you know, if it works out well and everything goes to plan, you know, to me, I personally want it to stay nice looking over there and not, that trailer in there is
Yeah.
kinda junky. You know, the third one over, you know, if we can find something we had 500 gallons of, you know, if we could find something close to that, you know, whether it be, 400 or 500 gallons and build something like that. And then George wants to put Litchfield, wrap it around, it's like Litchfield around the top.
I love it.
But even just building something around the
Put
current
fireworks on
tank.
it.
I mean, it wouldn't be
July.
round, it's square, but if we could elevate it like 6 feet, that would give plenty of pressure for watering the plots too.
So, anyways, that's the future, so that would be a next year project, we're good with the,
Now that you're done with bridges, go on to bigger and better. Taller
I'm
things.
so glad I was able to provide you something for that.
all right? Okay, that's the community garden. update.
Trying to figure out
Beautiful.
snatch box.
Yeah.
You guys are the best. You
All right,
really are.
anything else for old business before we move on? All right, public input, we don't have anybody here. Do we don't have any correspondence or anything, do we, Joan?
No, just was that letter.
All right, property checks. Anybody have any updates for Morris Falls? So I went through the trails, they're looking pretty good. I replaced the poop bags up there.
Jones with that.
Parker Park. So we did have a
Morris
major.
Falls, did you check the spur going down to the river?
I didn't. I went on bike, so I didn't go all the way down through
All
there.
right. I'll see if I can get down there. We gotta check that out. That might need a DR.
Yeah, I think we're going to because it was starting to trail was starting to narrow, so we will have to zap that.
Oh, somebody mentioned, I can't remember where I saw this, but what, the kids at St. Francis will be down there building their teepees and everything. Do we need to put a sign saying this is St.
Oh
Francis?
yeah, that's what it was saying.
And
Say this
I
is not
thought
a homeless encampment.
Yeah, Fred and I were down there last year working on it, and we were told by a number of people that there was a homeless, and that we needed to
They were
investigate.
worried about it.
Yeah, that, I went by there and they are putting tarps and stuff up again, so it might be.
Well, the
So,
insurance.
should we say this, have a picture on a sign, this is a homeless encampment, and then this is not?
Wait, maybe just a sign, and maybe we ask St. Francis to do it too, just saying that this is our outdoor classroom.
That might
or
be
something.
nice, if they,
Yeah,
if they-
that'd be a good idea.
we're running out of signage budget.
Oh, we spent it all on poop bags.
Did you get the Parker Park to open with those keys I gave you?
I haven't had a chance to try yet, but yeah, getting to Parker Park, we had a major emergency, which we think we have diverted now. We have 3 different sets of poop bag holder keys, and none of them fit the one at Parker Park. But I think George located them, so we should
I
be in
have
good
the
shape.
master key.
That
I
makes
have a
4.
key. One works at Morge Falls.
Oh, my God.
Well, the one that works at Morris Falls, I have that one too, but that doesn't work there. So I think we probably, the rec probably ordered different ones for, to
I
go
thought
on-
we
on the
ordered
ones
that.
for
We didn't order
Albuquerque.
that one? I thought we ordered the one at Parker Park.
We did, but it was separate than the Morris Falls
Right,
one,
it's
so
newer,
it's a
yeah.
different key,
Yeah.
so.
I found the keys in my truck, and so it must have been from when I put the holder in, so I'm hoping that they work.
Oh, that's funny.
I want a sign, Jones Poop Bags.
We could do that, sign.
No,
Joe-
let's not.
We named the bridges. It's only-
All right, well, while we're on Parker Park, any updates there? I've been down there a couple times. It's looking really, really good.
I've only seen it from the other side of the river.
All right, how about Musterfield? I know you've done there's been quite a bit of maintenance done there.
Okay, yep, got it. As if you look at the screen here,
Slideshow.
slideshow. So we had a leaner,
We gotta get a mirror set up for you guys.
Yeah.
We'll talk to John. He needs another TV. over there.
Like the fire station has, what, 3?
so there was, quite
Not
a
in
half
the
of this tree cut off, and it was leaner right across from the,
Yeah, I saw
old
that.
fire station at, at the Muster Field, and so, Fred and I went down and took care of that. Today's, we did that Wednesday. We did that yesterday.
Yep.
Oh, seems a long time ago. So we used the ropes and the snatch blocks and hooked it up. So we tied, yellow thing to the, yeah, I'm really losing it here. So we used a strap and we put the snatch block up and tied it to the tree, and we pulled it in a different direction with the tractor, and it seemed to work. So here's another shot of the setup here. And we were just getting it ready here before we pulled it down, and we were able to pull it down. Is this
Yeah, we're good.
It didn't really go down. This one, Matt, I didn't know you put these in here. So it started to move there.
There
We
it
had,
is, George, lower left.
what?
The volume. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So, but the tree
They turned it off.
moved a little bit, and then the tractor was having a little bit of traction issues, so we had to move the tractor. So I'm not going to show the failures, but after we moved the tractor, it came down.
There was a brief video of it just falling. The camera operator
You had
kind of
one
messed
job.
up.
Yep, so Fred and I are working, and then just about when we're ready to pull the tree, there shows up Matt, and Matt's there for the pictures, so.
Just in time.
Just in time. He's got this uncanny ability to come there for the
Photo time.
So it was a decent sized tree. We had to refill the tractor, and so we cleaned it up, and the air is back to normal. So
Put the bench.
I didn't put the picture in where George tore up all the lawn there, so.
we kind of fixed it, and so you can see here Matt is here, and he was the one who was taking the picture. So I made sure I got a picture of Matt. So that worked well yesterday. So we got that all taken care of. Okay. All right.
Jason had replaced the picnic table too.
Yeah, I brought up oh yeah,
Thanks for
I
doing
mowed the, community garden a couple of times, and then I brought one of the picnic tables from the community garden to the muster field, because the muster field one was busted. So we still have 2 picnic tables. Actually, there's one in the woods
Yeah.
as well, so there's
Yeah.
3 picnic tables there. And then the kids' picnic table at the community garden, and then at the muster field, there's 2 picnic tables.
So,
Yep.
all cleaned up.
Yeah, that's great.
And we refilled the tractor, and I dropped off the tank, the gas tank again with, highway. And that, diesel tank is, that 5-gallon tank is like a pain to use. Should we get a different one at some point? It's- I mean, it was leaking a little bit, you have to tip it upside down, you have to hold it.
Backwards. You have to, there's like only one way it'll go. You gotta wear the gloves too, because otherwise you're sticking your hands up with diesel.
No kidding.
Well, exactly, so, but so,
I
That's
thought-
not good. When you get home and you smell like diesel, the wife's gonna pay no attention to you.
Mosquitoes.
My wife is like
Mosquitoes
50
might
feet
not.
away. I smell gasoline.
yeah, I used the orange hand cleaner, but when I got home, just to clean it up. But so we should buy another tank, gas can, because it's just a pain and it leaks, so.
You have to I found a way where it works, and it's, you have to like turn it around backwards and
Upside down.
upside down.
And you
Yeah.
can hold it with 2 hands and balance it over. So anyways, so.
Can we
have
get
money.
one that,
It's full.
can we get one that's on the ground that acts as a pump, or I'll take a look on Amazon.
Okay, okay, you can be in charge of,
Okay.
just make sure it works.
We'll put that in the budget for next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, did anybody get out to any of the other, properties?
I went to the river access a couple times. It's in real good shape. The,
Good, Highway did some cleanup down there, right? Cause we had the, or did you guys take care of the leaner that we had?
We did.
Down there, yeah.
We did.
and the road is, where the brush builds up on the road is good. You can see out.
Yeah, that was a nice job. Town did that.
Yeah, and then, I haven't been out to, Lost Fort, I can never remember the name of that
Yeah,
place.
Lost-
Lonely Fort.
Lonely Fort.
Lonely Fort, yeah, so
We're gonna
we,
rename that next year.
No, we can't. Matt Lepore named that.
Oh.
So I was there before the previous meeting, the last meeting, and everything looked fine, so I can't imagine it was.
yeah, we still have the 2 duck houses in the shed, so we should consider replacing the fallen one over there at some point. Now that the rain slowed down a bit, it might be a good time to get out there.
They're really heavy, those duck boxes, so you have to find a decent
We got
sized
the
tree.
ATV and stuff, we can,
No, I mean
But we
to
can carry them out. but
find a tree to put them on.
Yeah.
oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're too bad.
I think we have some leftover screws from the,
Yeah, we do.
building that we can use to put them in.
All right, any other, properties? Anybody have an update on? All right, member input. Joan?
Nothing.
Eric?
On the 250th anniversary, what do you think about some sort of float
Well,
that
we're
we
gonna have a
could put
parade.
together?
To rebuild a ferry, is that what you're saying?
That's what they were asking us to do, is to
A float?
not a float like a
No, a
parade
float
float,
float.
like they wanna
Oh, they want a
to
float?
recreate the ferry going across the river.
We,
It'd be so fun.
You have a pulley across?
Spoken as the passenger princess, and we get to ride across it, but would do none of the work to get it going.
put your dog.
Well, no, I had more of
Parade.
a, right,
Is there going to be a parade?
We'd
Oh,
have a float,
I
and
would
we'd be
assume
ready.
have some sort
Adrian's
of
gonna
parade.
tell us.
Assuming we will, but we need to have a meeting.
how about a couple kayaks and a rope?
Yeah. Well, one thought was to use the fire department's boat, right?
Yep.
Which is
Kind
kind of
of a
flat.
flat bottom boat.
Yeah, that'd be,
But I don't think we wanna be running a, rope across the river.
Why not?
Somebody falls, I don't know, it could be,
Well, there's
You'd have a
legitimate
barge
boat traffic on
and
shore.
pull it up.
You're saying there could be an issue?
I said liability, yeah.
Sounds like a
Not a word we
challenge
use.
for the
But,
snack bar.
you know, I mean,
Not a word we
it,
use.
it has to be a pretty
Or-
big rope, and there has to be a lot of tension on it. It's not,
Yeah, it's not an easy task.
it's not
Well,
necessary,
there's also boats that use the river too.
right, and there's stuff that flows, yeah, right. So, yeah, that's the issue.
Well, if the river's really low when they have this event, we could walk across. See who makes it and who doesn't.
Do we know, is it, what, is it gonna be July 4th? When is the, do we know, do we have a date?
I would think it'd be July 4th,
It's coming up and she'll.
He's gonna, Adrian's gonna go.
Aiden.
right?
And George is-
I'm assuming so, but,
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
we'll have to get the update from,
Report back to
from-
us.
from Aiden.
Okay.
So Harry, were you suggesting Conservation Commission do a float?
It sounds like it, yeah.
Have grass, a waterfall, it'd be like a Rose Bowl parade.
Tractor, we could have the tractor pull
We've got
it.
trailers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, the trailer, but it's a small trailer, right?
No, we have a big one,
We got a big one.
and then we have one with a 500-gallon water tank on it.
Somebody could ride on the water tank.
We could parade that through
Hose off
town.
people when they're.
There you go.
If they do that, it's not a bad idea. I mean, if they have a parade through town or whatever,
You have
We
enough
could do
time to
that.
plan it, yeah.
that would be fun.
It's only an idea.
You could
Yeah.
have your skeletons, George, from your haunted house,
We're not
the
gonna cross, you know,
the streams.
4th of July. Streams.
No, that's a good idea. Anything else here?
No,
Michael?
Two things. I attended the Lower Merrimack Local River Advisory Committee meeting in Nashua last Wednesday, 2nd of July. There were a couple of folks from Litchfield there. Fran Murphy, who is the former chair of the advisory committee, stepped down. And the folks from DES had a meeting with members of the committee to see how we can move forward with the advisory committee. The plan is actually to go back to regular meetings starting in August. It would be the fourth Thursday of the month. We'd be meeting in Nashua. There's also, I think the local Merrimack River Local Advisory Council out of Mass is also going to be at that meeting. We're going to try to work with different stakeholders, and they're one of them. And they're going to come to the next meeting. And also discussion was had, is anybody else interested from Litchfield being on the committee? Right now, Pete Stone, myself, Jeff Town, were all at that meeting. And they were all from Litchfield. And they said if there's anyone else interested, to let them know. I think Pete Stone is going to sort of be he's not the chair, but he's going to be the chair designate for now.
Wow.
And we're going to try to see about maybe doing some educational stuff, and maybe getting out to the conservation commissions, doing a presentation for Merrimack, Litchfield, Hudson, Nashua, and getting input on what people want to see as part of, as an advisory committee. The other thing the advisory committee does is basically review DES shoreline permits. And we'll be doing that as well, but our enabling legislation is very broad and in scope, and so there are other things that we can do in terms of resources, and whether it's conservation oriented, whether it's oriented towards building trails along the river, doing historical stuff. There's a lot of stuff that can be done, and I'm not saying we're going to do everything, but we're trying to narrow the scope of what we can do. So I'm just throwing it out there. If there's anyone else from the Conservation Commission that may have an interest. I just renewed I have had my reappointment, so that'll be going before the Board of Selectmen on Monday. because I just filled out the paperwork, sent it to Kim Kleiner, and I got an appointment for the Board of Selectmen on Monday to be reappointed to that committee. But if anyone else has an interest, certainly we welcome you. We are trying to find people from Hudson. Apparently Hudson kind of fell off the map. There are a lot of people from Hudson. There used to be a lot of people from Hudson, and now there's nobody from Hudson. It's everybody from Litchfield. So kind of reverse. But these are things to think about.
Yeah, I think it'd be great if you guys could give us an update so we have a better understanding of what
Yeah,
you do. And
absolutely.
Do you have funding, and where's the funding come from?
I think there's certainly, right now, I think that's an issue to be looking into as well. But I think the focus right now is to see what it is that everyone has an interest in doing. It's part of the Department of Environmental Services, so the state sort of oversees the rivers management program. It's by statute, just like we're by statute, and so it's a part of the state, and so there's usually a representative from DES there for the rivers management program. Tracy Sales, who's been on that committee, I think she'd been on that since I started, and she was with the Watershed Council in Mass, and then she moved up to the state, so she was very encouraged. I think she was very happy that some people stepped up to the plate, and I think it's gonna, we're gonna try and see what we can do, so.
Is that something that they could, like, bank erosion and things like that?
Sure.
That's something that,
Yeah, that was one of the things that was brought up as well. I mean, there was I think it was the Lower Merrimack, a study that was done, I think, by NRPC.
Yeah.
That focused in on a lot of those things, a lot of those issues. And I think that may be something else that we're gonna be working on as well, because I think that's gonna be coming up. We're gonna be doing another one of those for NRPC.
Could I get that study on the portal? It's pretty
Should be
big.
able to get it on the DES, the Rivers Management
Oh, they have it up
portal,
on,
or I think the National Regional Planning Commission has something on their website
I'll
as
look
well.
up what year it was done.
So that's one thing. The other thing, just letting everybody know, the Turtle Project, I remember if you recall, that actually got, the Litchfield State Forest actually got to the top of the list. State is very interested in doing that project. It is moving forward. There is going to, actually, Steve Crawford, in the forest, Steve Crawford is who is sort of heading that for the New Hampshire Wildlife Federation. I think he's working on a grant to get some grant money to support that, and I think he's just passed the first phase of it. So that is actually going to move forward. I think they're going to be starting stuff, maybe you might see in October in the state forest. So
Did Josh come down and look at the site?
yes, they had a site walk
Oh, good.
shortly after they met with us, with the Fish and Game people,
Good sign.
and so it
Making
was
connections.
very, very encouraging. So then the state was very interested in it. So
that's great.
so you know.
Wow, good.
Nice stuff, yeah, so Michael, just let us know when you can do it.
Absolutely.
Or if you can even do the update or whatever, we can make sure we.
Yeah, so the next meeting, unless we have a review of any plan that comes in for DES shoreline permit, I believe the next meeting is gonna be in, the fourth Thursday in August, whenever that falls. So, and we're gonna start to make it more consistent, doing that, so. That's it.
Sounds good.
It's a really good opportunity to learn new things.
Oh, yeah.
When I stepped away from it, I wanted this year as a first year selectman to be able to, like, get to know the boards more and how the boards work together and all those kind of things. So it's not a thing I wanna take on right now, but it is someplace that you can go and you hear like a whole different perspective on conservation than
From
what we
different
get
towns
here
and
in our
municipalities,
own
yeah.
little world of Litchfield. So if you're interested, even just go into the meetings are interesting when they do the proposals and stuff. Lots to learn there.
Sure.
All right, Jason.
A couple real quick things. I'm gonna go, hopefully tomorrow, I'm gonna be going up to New Hampshire DES to get the signed deed from the head of DES. There's one page that we needed them to sign. And at the same time, they're gonna provide me with a handful of signs that we're gonna use on the DeRocher property. And same thing goes for L-Chip. So we should be receiving some signage from those folks that, we're gonna have to build a kiosk and put those signs up there. I finished, I think, I'm gonna send out an email, and I'm gonna copy the Board of Selectmen as well. Last month, I spent a lot of time with the final reports that had to go into the state. And there were two major reports that I'll send out, and if anybody wants to peruse through them, you know, have at it. One of them was a baseline condition report, which kind of shows the way that the DeRocher property exists today, and we have to make sure that we maintain it in that state. And then the other report that we had to put together was the stewardship plan. And it outlines, you know, the top 10 list of things that we're gonna do on a yearly basis. Everything is up on the portal. I'll send it out to everybody. I'm gonna copy the Board of Selectmen, but, you know, if you get a chance, breeze through them. And then the last thing is on the portal, for anybody that uses the portal, Aiden, if you go to lcc.litchfieldnh.gov,
Okay.
there's like a portal there, and all our meeting minutes and stuff are in there. I put a little tab in there, Harry, for you, that says like Conservation AI on it, and it's like right at the top. Conservate, Joan, you'll like this. And this came from, John Brunel tipped me off to this. So in this app, in this AI app, I referenced all of the meeting minutes, reports that we have, and our videos. And you can go in there and type in a question like, when did we talk about the Thoreau property? And hit the enter button, and it'll go through all that stuff, and it'll say, on your January 2025 meeting, you said X, Y, and Z. You know, it might take a minute for it to pop up, but it's a pretty good way to kind of go through the minutes and figure out
That's very nice.
what's going on. So give it a try. Works out pretty well. That's how I got the Thoreau. It came up and it gave me the
I
entire,
just typed it in and it,
yeah.
so,
And those little tags on the end will point you to like the minutes or the point in the video when people said certain things.
It's all, machine learning too, so if you get a response back that's not what you expected or garbage and stuff, you can hit the thumbs down and
Yeah.
it'll learn from that.
So John Brunel tipped me off that we had a license for that. So every couple of months, I pull in the meeting minutes and I add the videos to it. There's, on the left-hand side of the screen, you see sources, and that's where I can hit the add button and bring it in. And the cool thing about this is unlike ChatGPT, which is kind of referencing the entire web, this is only referencing what we tell it to reference.
Nice.
Very cool.
Anything else?
Nope.
I don't have anything new. Aiden, anything?
I don't have anything.
So Aiden helped out with rejiggering the hoses for the garden, getting those straightened out. He helped me out with that.
I know what you're gonna say.
did you switch the hose at the bottom? Did you switch the hoses going up and down the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the new hose is at the bottom because the hose you had was kinking up pretty easy and
Okay.
stuff, and also
Nice.
looked like it's a little narrow.
Today I was down there and I thought it looked different.
Yeah.
Is the blue hose gone now?
Blue hose.
It was up on the trailer.
I don't remember a blue hose. The section of hose. So there was.
That kinked up pretty easy.
Yeah, no, we're still using that for the last part, but
Yeah.
that hose was pretty long, and that seemed like one of the end sections was kinking up a lot, so I
Cut it.
basically cut it to
Okay.
length, so we have another,
Good.
we have like 10 or 15 extra feet in case we want to remove, move the location of the pump in the river. We still have enough slack to be able to do that.
Okay. Was it male or female on the end? Probably female end.
Well, I cut the hose, so
Oh,
it's
you cut
nothing on the end.
I just might need like a 10-foot sectional hose, but
So we got that extra section of hose, we can get just buy a connector or something. I might even have an extra one at home.
okay.
Yeah, so it's, the male connector piece is at the, end, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm all set.
Okay, nothing from Fred. George, anything else?
I'm not sure, was it mentioned, I don't think we could mention it at the conservation meeting about the award for the dock that, the rec commission, won. Did we announce that?
We haven't discussed that here.
Okay, so, I helped Judy put together, she did the proposal for the, and Jason helped with the proposal, I believe, as well, but I did some research on buying docks, and so ARP awarded the town, the grant, so, we are going to be putting a 30 by 6 foot dock at Dara Pond at some point in time. That'll coincide great with the milfoil stuff. It'll have a 4-foot ramp as well. So there's money in the grant for the dock and some landscaping or, fixing of the path down there. So that's pretty big news, I think.
Will kids be able to jump off the dock?
There will be no swimming or swim at your own risk and no diving kind of signs probably up there. But yes, if that answers, if that answers your question. But that place gets so much use, that's great. I did go down, the other day, so doing a little bit of cleanup, and I increased the size. I took some trimmings. There's a couple of places where people would fish from shore, and while I was down there, some kid snapped a lure off. I took my pruning saw and I just cut the trees a little bit, so there's like 2 or 3 casting lanes now around the pond.
Oh, good.
So that should open up a little bit more pond access. I didn't cut down any trees, I just cut a few limbs so that, they can cast out a little bit. Since I'm on this fishing kick, my goal, hopefully, is, I mentioned this before, is at the muster field, somehow getting a trail down to the river. It'd be great if we could get to the river, from the muster field at some point. I don't know where that will be.
Well, there's that ladder
That's
That's
not in
ladder.
Musterfield, that's behind the,
that's behind the.
behind the church property.
Right.
But
It's
on
pretty
the
steep right
road
there.
up to the
It is
upper
really
bank,
steep.
it looks
I
like
did
there's
do
a
it.
pretty good
Poison
way to
ivy.
get down
And
there.
there's a lot of poison, but
I did
anyways,
do it, but I didn't catch poison when I did it.
yeah, so at, some point, I think we need to widen the muster field a little bit at the top. There's still, quite a bit of ways to the bank, up there. But that might be my next project coming at some point.
I had one, well, before we get to Diane, I forgot to mention. I think at the next meeting, I'd like to bring up, the community garden and just kind of setting some simple rules on folks that have garden plots. When we're mowing, there's stuff left out in front of the fences. I've run over hoses before. There's
Saw the
tools down
email.
there that you're jumping off the tractor and getting back on. Maybe just some really simple housekeeping
If
things.
for
like-
next year, we need to say the gardens need to be inside the fence.
Yep.
And, what did I just think of? If people are not coming back to their plot, because there's 2 that aren't being used that are really growing up, they need to let us know.
Yep.
Say that again, Joe?
If the people aren't gonna come back the following year,
Oh, yeah.
then they need to let,
Yeah, so Denise was managing that, and we had everybody sign up for the plots. It's just, we had such a cruddy spring with the 13 Saturdays.
well,
of
there's
rain.
there's 2 plots that aren't being used at all. that are-
Leanne's
Yeah,
not
that
gonna
people,
come back.
people
She
are,
just
had
went,
intended to use them, but
Yeah,
they
no,
just
no, no.
weren't
Oh,
able
because
to
of spring.
get to do that.
One of the half plots, Leanne's not coming back. She just
Yeah, yeah.
notified everybody.
Yeah, so I think it would,
Who's the other one who hasn't come back yet?
I think it's all on the
Boise.
side of us.
Boysen,
Was
Jay
it?
Boysen.
Okay.
But, so just to highlight for everybody, here's a picture that might show what we're talking about. So there is, and this person, added 4 steps in front of their plot. and
Patio
some-
blocks.
And patio blocks, and there's flowers. Now, I know they're making it
It's like a
nicer.
front porch.
It's-
It's like a
it's-
front porch.
It's a front porch,
trailer.
but when you come in and mow, you have to, you can't mow this area here with the mower because you have to swing wide. And then you have to swing wide again, and so on either side of that area, you can't mow, right? And so now we're saying, well, in order to do that, we've gotta bring down a weed whacker in order to cut down that brush area. We don't wanna, we just wanna make it uniform so
Right.
that it's easier to do the maintenance. And I know these people are taking great pride in their plot, and so we don't discourage that, but, you know, the pride should be within the confines of,
Right.
just to make it easier for, you know.
Now, Denise was putting benches out in front of there too, wasn't
Yeah,
she?
she's already done that, so I
Still,
think
so
there's.
benches can
And
stay.
that's one
I
of the
didn't have a
benches there.
problem with
The benches are fine, they're small and they can
Yeah.
be moved easily. This is just a little bit of an issue, do you know what I mean?
Did you talk to the gardener?
No.
No one's talked to.
We have not, we didn't put.
No, I just
it's-
wondered
it's-
if it had been broached. I
yeah,
know.
It's a little late this
It's
year.
too late
to
for
do
this
it,
year,
but,
yeah.
For,
Yeah.
for,
Got
for
stuff
next year.
planned
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, so as we see these things, we're gonna try to come up with,
Yeah.
you know, ground rules.
Hence, we'll come up with like a top 10 list. I mean,
So if it was like maybe just one of those little flagstones
No.
and with hollyhocks
No,
on
you
either
just need,
side,
everybody,
none,
it needs to be
everything gonna
consistent.
inside?
The
Yeah.
fence line needs to be
All right,
consistent all the
so
way.
just the benches.
Just the benches. Yeah, and, you know, I know they're just trying to make it look nicer, but as far as maintenance and stuff like that,
Okay.
you know, yeah.
The gardens in the middle are really going good.
Yeah,
Soil's a little bit different there in the middle.
the flints.
Okay.
All right, George, anything else?
Okay, since, last one,
You have the minutes.
just saying, we're not just being mean to these gardeners.
I don't think it'd be mean, I'm just
So, there was,
asking questions.
there was this guy at the very end, complained about this one tree that was, you know, he was on the very end and he was getting shaded by this tree. So while we were up there working on the, shed, Fred and I took down this tree the other day. So we, you know, those trees were at the very end of the, you know, garden plots, and so we took down one of them. He must be happy. I haven't seen him since, but, you know, we are listening to the concerns, helping out. We're not just, you know,
I
saying.
would say that's it though. No other, no other trees cut.
Right, yes, no,
Because there is one other one there.
Yeah.
And
You wanted
Yeah,
that
no,
one?
I mean, those are nice trees.
They're
That's
nice
a
shade trees.
Not the ones with the
Black
ones, right?
walnut.
He can move to
It's
the
black
middle, there's
walnut.
plenty of sun in the middle.
We shouldn't be touching those,
Yeah.
that's the last one on those.
yeah,
unfortunately.
last
Okay, good.
I did have one other thing about the garden.
Yeah.
We did run the Learn to Compost Day, and Aiden
Yep.
attended, yay!
Yay.
Gene Harrington came over from National Lucille Feeds, and I think we both learned a lot from
Yeah.
him. And he talked about where we could put a pile that would be convenient for everybody to throw their brush and discards from this year. So,
So actually, Aiden, that might be a good project if you want, is to figure out where we put that and come up for recommendations for how we want to, like, I guess, close it in. I don't know if we need to elevate it or anything in order
we
to,
don't need to elevate it, close it in would be good with some kind of,
Retain
So,
it.
we do need to turn it and stuff too, right? So
Turn
we
it,
have the
yeah.
bucket on the tractor can do that, so just
And-
whatever we put in.
Gene says his at home, he doesn't have enclosed, they just throw the stuff out the kitchen door and return it. And
We got the bucket. so-
right, do we take the plot that's currently unused and is right in front of the water tank where we're running the, hose, do we take, you know, like a 10-foot swath or something like that?
That's a
and
good
put-
idea.
And that's centrally located, so you can
Yeah.
put the compost there, we can still run the water, so that center plot might be
Yeah, and we
A
could
good one for-
cut down the weeds there.
locating the.
Yeah, that might be
a
good.
good
'cause
idea.
If we do decide to elevate the water tank, we need a place to,
Which would be centrally
Eminent
located.
domain.
I saw
I'm gonna
Glenn
take that
over at, I saw Glenn over at the blueberry bushes the other day when I was
I'll have
going
to
by.
talk to her
Do we
again.
have blueberries?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be careful.
For the birds.
There is a
Poison
lot of
ivy.
poison ivy intertwined with those
Yeah.
blueberries.
Blueberries?
Really?
Yep.
Yep.
While we're on George's kick of beating up gardeners, we do have another thing that's just, when you're mowing, I mean, we're volunteers, we're down there mowing, we're running into stuff. There are 5 piles of various different things down there. There's a chip pile
Oh, yeah,
right
the
up
chip and the
front.
compost pile.
There was a compost pile
Yeah.
out back. And then there's 3 piles somewhere like either up against, there's one up by the blueberry bush, one that's next to the first plot, and then I think there's one in back. You know, if we, at some point, like to like get rid of those and maybe centrally locate them in that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't get rid of
at
them, I
that one
mean,
spot.
you don't know when you're gonna need them, but yeah,
Compost, yeah.
I would definitely move them all.
Not meaning get rid of them, haul them off site,
Oh,
but
yeah.
if they, I wouldn't add, we have to like get a little bit of plan. I wouldn't
I
add
agree,
to
well,
it.
I kinda just took everything that people would give us and said,
then-
yes, we think that's a fine place, thanks for leaving it. Because we needed it, you know, we used them for the blueberries and.
We could put some of that, the chips around the blueberries more, I guess, and
Yeah,
and the
that would be
compost
nice.
piles are really good, the compost is,
Yeah,
we put some of that.
it's all good. It just needs to be like moved.
Yeah,
to sort of
organized.
like-
Now it's more organized. Those things came in when we were just a field, you know, so absolutely
Just a
anywhere
field.
that you guys wanna put them.
It looks great down there. When we
Yeah,
get
so
that,
we think we need a compost pile to decide on where that's gonna
Yeah,
be.
absolutely.
And, a clippings and weedings pile. We need to kind of consolidate that.
Yeah, because they're throwing them out in the woods now.
Yeah, that's, well, that plot, I think it's next to us, that plot that's growing up, that's vacant. That's
Is
a
it a half
good,
one or a full one?
it's a full one.
Full.
There's 2
That
full
would be
ones that aren't
Jay.
being used.
I'd say if he hasn't started it, he's not going to.
Yeah,
but I'm
no,
looking.
no.
It's a little late.
That's our intern day.
and shout out to George because he triple cut the field, I think, one day.
The garden,
It's tough. Once you get past like 3 weeks, that grass gets really, really thick. And he came back and I think he cut it and then like cross-cut it a couple of different times and, yeah, if we stay up on it every couple of weeks, it'll be really nice.
Stonyfield
Did you put that on your
Yogurt Road.
fitness tracker?
I did 8.7 miles of mowing this weekend.
Stonyfield Yogurt, I think, will donate clover seed to us. That's something that would be worth putting
What?
down in
What
the
ki-
main part of the field.
what kind of seeds?
Clover.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that'd be
So maybe
great.
I'll give
Bring
them a
the
call.
peas
I know
in.
that was something that
we
happened
tried,
once.
Glenn just bought something, I think he did peas notes last year, and the
Yep.
peas are starting to come up, I think. But yeah, clover would be good.
See if I can get
The
it
bunny would
donated.
like that. The bunny would
Yeah.
like the clover.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it
it would
might
just make
help
the
from,
texture of the grass and everything that's growing in, it would
bees,
just make it
too.
easier.
Peas, yeah.
And that
Yeah.
flower's low, so you can mow it too.
Right, I think it would be easier. I'm gonna see if I can get that.
Matt, I have one quick question.
It's good for
When-
the ground.
We put in the wharf, the dock on Dara Pond, and we allow swimming. Who's gonna take responsibility for that?
We're putting up a sign that says,
Yeah, swim at your own risk, and it's
So
rec, it's not us.
It's not gonna be us?
It's not us, it's
Recreation.
rec.
It's still gonna be recreation?
Yes.
yeah, rec owns,
And we're not putting in the
Okay.
dock, rec,
for
it's,
Dara.
it's rec, I mean, I will probably be helping put in the dock, but, you know, it's,
We'll
it's,
choose the location, do the, and they'll be staked out.
yeah, we've already figured out where it's gonna go, I've
Not
submitted the
gonna
plans to
swim
the
there.
state, but they're gonna have signs to make sure we meet all the requirements by Primex and stuff like that, so, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know as well as I do, signs don't mean anything.
No,
It's-
it's swim at your own risk, so.
Yeah.
Was the
there's
state
something-
permit needed for that dock?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Kids will be fishing off the dock.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. And getting tangled in the milfoil.
We'll be glad.
Falling
No
in.
more milfoil.
Anything else, George?
Nope.
Diane?
Nothing really, other than to say, as always, you guys are the most active board around. You just do so many things on your own time.
That's because they got the young bunch here, you know, that's what it, I had
Especially
So,
that.
now.
you're always on there doing stuff too. I mean, it's just a board that just gets stuff done. And it's just always really a pleasure to hear what you guys are up to next.
We have a laborer that's not gonna need an aspirin
Oh, you're gonna be-
regimen before and after.
Joan's gonna get your name tag.
Okay,
So that
okay.
you're
Yeah, I'll get your
really-
name back.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, approval of meeting minutes is the next thing we have.
I forgot my minutes. Does anybody
I
have
read them
minutes?
and I didn't have a problem with them.
Yeah, I read them. We can bring them up quick if,
Was there a section where Mr. Moreau was here? I corrected the planning board minutes because it said in the planning board that
I can,
Mr. Moreau came and mentioned that the conservation didn't have any issues, and I said, oh, wait a minute, Mr. Moreau just came in a basic talk, and not that we didn't have any issues. So that got corrected.
yeah, well, I mean, we haven't seen the
We haven't seen
formal
anything.
plan, right? You
Yeah,
just-
that
it's
was just
doing
a concept. So I forgot to bring those. Did you-
Postpone it
You read them?
What's that?
on the minutes.
You
No,
can bring them up? You can bring them up.
Yeah, Joan has concerns.
oh, she has,
No, I don't have concerns.
Oh, no,
I
no.
corrected the planning board minutes.
Oh,
um,
I think I
someone
read
wanted to
them.
read them? I mean, I don't wanna.
I didn't have any
So-
comments on it, just,
Okay, old
Old
business, summer
business, summer
intern,
intern.
I think it's
yeah.
getting to, the,
Right,
that, right there.
that's Morse Falls,
yeah, and then he,
right there. Mr. Monroe recounted previous difficulties working with.
no, that's still talking about the sidewalk.
Was
This
he
is
here
the
with
new
the
proposed
concept
development.
last month?
Oh, the concept? Okay.
Yeah, we weren't, yeah.
Salary go, oh, what,
No, oh, we-
Here you go, right here.
Yeah.
490,
yeah,
informational,
yeah, informational.
yeah.
No formal proposals. That's good.
So he said that he hadn't presented this to the planning board or anything yet.
No, he just came with conceptual to the
Right.
planning board.
Yeah, and he didn't ask us if we had a problem with it.
Is that Rick?
And what were you looking for specifically?
I can't remember if I read it. Can you back down again to the, Talarico?
So,
Finalized, okay.
yeah, so he basically said that, he doesn't wanna break those up into the individual
Oh,
lots,
that's right,
because then he has
that's
to pay taxes on
Yeah,
the individual
yeah, yeah.
lots. He wants to pay the current use tax, for the large parcel. So, you know, they were backfilling two of the, foundations, yesterday or the day
Yeah, they've
before.
got 5 foundations, permits for 5 foundations.
He's got permits for, he's got 3 in,
Yeah.
2 of them, you know, they're gonna probably start working on very soon.
I
Okay.
drove down there, I'm surprised how much fill is gonna be required
Oh, yeah.
to bring it up to grade.
Feet.
Well, they have to,
On the
because
lots?
they,
Because they're on,
they have to be 4 feet above the high water table.
Right.
For their septic and their,
It's like,
and it's only 2 feet for their,
Well, they have to have their basement floor elevation above seasonal high, too.
right, it's like, it's only like 2 feet, not 4 feet above high seasonal, so.
They're digging into that hill.
a bunch of
Yeah.
mounds and all the.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a lot of fill.
it's like, the level of the garage where you drive into the garage on one of them seems like it's, I'm pulling a number out of the air, but I'm pretty close, like 6 feet from
Yeah.
where the ground is.
Wow.
Like
All right,
that's-
so are there any other, questions on the minutes?
No,
So, not for me.
none for me.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
make a motion, we approve the,
August 7th,
pardon,
August 7th.
August 7th.
No, that's the next meeting, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
let's try June.
Let's try June.
Thank
Haven't had
you.
enough summer yet, Joan.
It just says approval of meeting, then it
June
goes,
5th
June 5th, thank you.
meeting,
Do we have a
minutes
second?
meeting.
We
Second.
get you.
All right, we have a motion by Harry and a second by, Fred. Any discussion? All those in favor? All right, motion, carries 7-0.
I'm abstaining.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So,
Motion carries 7-0-1.
No, 601.
6-0-1, sorry.
Now, the next meeting is August 7th, that's the August
All
7th.
right, there we go. Next meeting, August 7th.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, any need for a non-public, today?
No.
All right, then we'll be able to adjourn. I I make a motion that we adjourn.
I second it.
All right, Joan, do you, or any discussion before we adjourn? Joan,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
I approve. Fred,
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
All right, we're good. We're done. Thank you, Litchfield.
Okay, are we off? I have one question.
Yeah, it was a great meeting.